Hello, I'm Dr. B.J. Moti, and we know that India is celebrating the 28th of October as Ayurveda Day. And as part of that, at the Houses of the Parliament in the UK, we held an event to talk about role of Ayurveda in preventing or supporting the management of type 2 diabetes in the UK. And unfortunately, as I have been in India, I was on a Skype call to deliver my speech, which couldn't go ahead completely due to technical glitches. So I thought I will record this talk and share with you, because I think there is a value in integrating Ayurveda in preventing type 2 diabetes. We know that diabetes is the most common condition, long-term condition in the world today. We also know that in the UK, during the last 20 years, diabetes has risen from 1.4 million to 3.5 million, and it's estimated to go up to 5 million in about 10 years. It is already costing 173 million pounds a week, which is 10% of the NHS budget. And most importantly, 10 years ago, type 2 diabetes in adolescents was about 3% of all the type 2 diabetes, but today it's about 45%, which is really alarming. Life expectancy of people with diabetes is 10 years lesser than the rest of the population. So these facts are really alarming, and they pose a huge challenge to individuals, to populations, in terms of health, and also the economic burden that comes with this challenge. However, the big question really is, currently we understand that obesity, ethnicity, for instance, diabetes, particularly type 2 diabetes, is more common among South Asians, amongst people of African origin. Of course, it is seen amongst all ethnicities. However, the current understanding that nutrition, lifestyle, and obesity and ethnicity, all the known risk factors for type 2 diabetes, are there enough to be able to provide an effective solution to deal with this chronic condition? This is where I feel the role of Ayurveda, traditional systems of healthcare, is extremely important within modern healthcare environment. Interestingly, diabetes is not a modern disease. If you look at the documentation of metabolic disorders in the medical literature of Ayurveda, the description of a condition very similar to diabetes goes back to 2nd century BC. But more importantly, the understanding of etiopathogenesis, or how it is caused and how it manifests, is also very clearly described, which is what interests me. The treatise Charaka Samhita describes several factors that may influence someone's metabolic impairment, or what we today call metabolic disorder, or any of the metabolic disorders, and of course diabetes is one of them. The Sanskrit verse goes as Sukhascha Kala Yoga Bija Kshetre Guna Sampacha, and it goes on and ends with Harsha Sampacha. So these are the factors which in Ayurveda in 2nd century BC were described as the one responsible for Vata, or immunity. Of course, those who are trained in the classical tradition of Ayurveda will be able to understand these factors. They use it, they assess it in their clinical practice, and they actually try and correct these things in their clinical practice. So besides the few factors that we currently know as risk factors for type 2 diabetes, which are all very important because I'm a public health researcher. I totally kind of support that we need to focus on nutrition and lifestyle. However, unfortunately, we don't consider the various other factors that Ayurveda offers, which is to understand factors like the influence of season, for instance, or the maternal and paternal influence during conception and pregnancy, uh, one's ability to adapt to stress, psycho-emotional balance, individual personality, age, and importantly, happiness. Unfortunately, when there is research focused on traditional systems, we generally look at new drug discovery. However, we don't really look at the value or role of traditional systems as whole systems of care. And this is where I believe that considering Ayurveda in measuring health, in measuring well being, can be an important step in reducing the health gaps. Even if we can't immediately establish the association of the various factors that I said, or usually considered by Ayurvedic practitioners because it's mentioned in the Ayurvedic medical literature, uh, definitely there's one aspect which I think we should all be looking at, which is the role of one's individual body type, which is called Prakriti. If at all, if we are able to at least include in research the role of our individual body types and its association with development of diabetes, we might be able to already start to understand diabetes better. And also, Ayurvedic practitioners who consider classical Ayurveda always go into understanding one's gut health, the role of gut health on one's immunity, and this is called Agni. So, Ayurveda is a very sophisticated system of knowledge, and even if you are not taking all the factors that are described in the classics and investigate them as to whether that can provide us a better lead to understanding diabetes, even if you just include the concept of Agni, which is related to gut health and it's linked to immunity, and Prakriti, the role of individual body types, because not every South Asian is the same, not every African person is the same, not every European is the same. Even within those subsets of population, there can be different characteristics within the individuals which predisposes them to develop diabetes. Could be to do with insulin resistance, poor insulin sensitivity, poor glycemic control, all of these factors. So that is from both a research perspective and also using that knowledge to measure one's body type and its relation to diabetes already. So this can be integrated within the current healthcare within NHS. Finally, I'd like to say that while conventional medicine is doing very well in extending one's lifespan, utilizing Ayurvedic approaches to improve quality of life and also using Ayurveda's methods to measure health, to measure well-being, may be the most important aspects we might need to consider in today's multidisciplinary approach to closing health gaps. So, integrating aspects of Ayurveda within our current strategy to manage type 2 diabetes is not only possible in the UK and elsewhere, but it is also extremely important because good health is only possible through good science, and conventional medicine or Ayurveda is not an exception to good science. And in fact, Ayurveda is a very sophisticated knowledge system that is scientific in every sense. So if we start to explore the roles of traditional systems like Ayurveda within our current healthcare model, we might be reducing burden of disease on individuals, on communities, and also reduce the economic costs. As diabetes is a chronic illness, it's not just about using anti-diabetics in the form of metformin or insulin to achieve better glycemic control, but it's about preventing complications that occur after diabetes has been diagnosed. It's about prevention because we do know that we can actually try and detect someone who is likely to develop diabetes and what we can do in terms of nutrition and lifestyle. This is where Ayurveda can be fantastic. I hope this has given some food for thought, and I would very much appreciate your comments on this topic, as it's very essential that we think in this direction. Thank you.